Matthew Arnold wrote Dover Beach while on honeymoon in 1851. Retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. Ah, love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain, and we hear, as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies
E più lunghi.
clash by night.
Finito?
El finito.
Mi dispiace, non parlo inglese, so non capisco bene il poem.
Welcome back, Gianni.
Ciao.
Ciao bella.
Ciao. Ciao, Crooked Smile Podcast. Tifosi, sono Gianni. Ritorno in Australia, ma non parlo inglese bene, so this will be a difficult podcast. But thank you everyone for having me back on the podcast. Thank you, Campbell, for having me back on the podcast.
What do you mean? It's our podcast.
I don't know. You seem to have a lot of other people on the podcast the last few weeks without me.
Because you've been away.
I thought we said that we were going to, keep it sacred, keep it between two people. Maybe we have guests, but I don't know. It sounded like you got along really oddly well with Shervo, the runner, and seems there was a bit of a physical attraction there, and obviously Lloyd. You and Lloyd seemed to get on really well. So I don't know. I felt a bit insecure while I was away. Fletcher, apparently you guys got really close. So I don't know what's been going on in this podcast room, but I don't know if I like it. So I'm glad I got back just in the nick of time.
Thanks very much for coming back.
I almost stayed.
I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. But Europe.
The reunion people didn't know they need.
People probably did need it though. They knew they needed it. It's like heroin to them. Seeing us together in the same room.
Yeah, so
it's a drug. But it's good to be back.
Love is a drug
Yeah.
in Portofino. So you've been away in Europe.
I have.
For the last 7-8 weeks.
7
weeks.
7 weeks.
A lot has happened since you've been
in
the world.
Can you run me through what's happened in that? Because I've been basically, when I go away, I like to put the phones away, put the phones down, touch the earth a little bit. Just trees.
And just not communicate with the ones that love you most.
Yeah, no, but it's not that I don't want to communicate. It's just you only spend a certain amount of time away, and I'd like to. So when I got to Italy, I gave my phone to a homeless man and I said, I'll be back in a few weeks' time. I said, just look after, you can do my streaks if you want. So I kept my streaks. I gave him my password. Apparently some people got some really weird content because he was on my Snapchat. But no, I just left my phone there, got the map out, directed myself around Europe.
Asked the gypsies for directions.
Became a gypsy.
Got some free
bracelets. Became a wolf person, actually.
A Sigma.
I travelled.
You became a Sigma male.
I travelled through Europe with a pack of wolves. Yeah, heavy nightlife, heavy party lifestyle with the wolves.
So some of the things that have happened in the last.
Okay. Come on, let's get excited.
Some of the things that have happened in the last 7 weeks while you've been away.
Please let me know.
June 10th, Apple announces that AI will be integrated into their new phones through Siri.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it not AI already?
Like OpenAI. Integrating with Siri for Apple phones moving forward into the future. No, not good. Very bad.
Oh, okay.
Big security breach.
I don't have my phone, so I didn't know that.
Big security breach.
Good day for Samsung, I guess.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Because there's it's a security thing. Like if OpenAI is able to run through your entire phone.
Are they saying that's going to be listening to you more? Because if they're listening to you more, then they're already listening to you now. They already listen.
It's just a breach of security, bro.
Yeah.
June 18th, Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin hang out and did a car karaoke. Did you see that?
No, they didn't. What?
Well, they didn't do a car karaoke, but
they just hung out in a car.
And there's videos of them chatting
in a
and
car.
getting along well in a car together. Didn't you see all the...
No, what?
Clearly you didn't have a phone.
Yeah, I didn't. I told you. That would have been what they sing.
Fireworks by Katy Perry.
Yeah, classic. That would have been fun. To be a fly on the wall and that. No, it wouldn't have been fun. Two terrible human beings.
21st of June, Ronaldo, a 6-foot Brazilian rainbow boa constrictor, gave birth to 14 babies in Portsmouth, England, despite no contact with another snake for nearly a decade. So it was asexual reproduction.
Fascinating.
Ronaldo!
Why is it called Ronaldo?
I don't know.
Well, obviously that's why.
Delivers
Yeah,
in a time of need.
Delivers, does well without any help, I guess. Performs without any help.
Maybe you could
Ronaldo's
say
been doing that for a few years with Portugal. Now their team's good, but
this Ronaldo is really the Virgin Mary giving birth.
let's not get into that.
Okay.
But congrats to Ronaldo.
Congrats, Ronaldo. Debate. So there was the debate, then Biden dropping out, and
I
then
did see
Trump
that.
being
I walked
assassinated,
into
or the attempt on Trump.
I was in London and I did look at the news screen and we were about to go to bed and I saw, Donald Trump's been assassinated. The first thing I did was jumped onto Twitter, onto X.
And you saw
I
the
don't
photos
usually
of him doing this?
So I used someone else's phone. No, I hopped onto Twitter because I knew that the internet reaction was going to be, I don't usually go onto Twitter, but literally the first thing I see is like an AI generated image of Biden with a rifle and it says, I think I shot Putin. This was just after he'd gone to the whatever the G8 summit or wherever it was, and he's I now invite President Putin to the stage, and it was Zelensky that he was invited. Did you see that?
Yeah. And then probably the most important event of the last 7 weeks.
More important than the Trump assassination?
Probably shapes history
More
the
than the Trump
most.
assassination?
Yeah, it's probably the most pivotal thing that's happened this year. Neurotify graduated.
Yeah. Shout out Neurotify. Well done.
Last week's guest just graduated his neuroscience degree. Well, it's a Bachelor of Biomed Science majoring in neuroscience.
Bachelor of Neurotification.
Yeah, I kind of think that's a bit of a play on words, neurotify and neuro.
Neuroscience.
What's the neurotic novels or something?
Erotic.
Erotic. Yeah, it kind of sounds like erotic.
No, it doesn't sound anything like erotic.
Neurotic.
Do you know what erotic
Erotic.
novels are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 Shades.
Yeah. Name another one. 50 Shades Freed. 50 Shades Darker. I could go all day.
So you've been reading while you've been in Europe?
Yeah, lots of reading, lots of erotic fiction.
So
because you know when you're in Europe, you want to feel the passion, you want to feel the love, So a lot of erotic fiction.
What are some of the biggest differences in Europe society to Perth society?
Well, let me run you through my day, a usual day in Italy. So I'd wake up at probably about 11 o'clock because you have to wake up before 11 to have a cappuccino because you can't have a cappuccino after 12. So I'd go down to the local cafe.
Tip the waiters.
No, God no. What are you talking about?
I was being ironic, facetious.
Were you? Facetious, yeah. You go down, you stand at the bar. The coffee culture, it's different. You don't sit down and have, a cup of soup basically. You go to the bar, you stand at the or you go to the receipt lady first, you pay, she gives you the receipt, you go to the bar, you whack it down on the table and they ask you, dimmi, and you say, un espresso per favore, amico. If you want to be a friend, if he's not your friend, you just say un espresso per favore. They bring you the espresso and you just drink it and then you're off. Right?
Would you say your Italian's fluent now?
No. It got a little bit better, but I had some experiences with we'll get to that later. But
okay.
That's what you do. You don't sit around and drink coffee for an hour and then obviously if you're catching up with people, that's fair enough. You have your espresso, you get out, right? You have a quick croissant or something. That's the first part of Italian culture I really like. And then you're off, and then you're exploring, you're touching earth. You're in Rome. You're walking through Rome. You're walking through
Colosseum?
Puglia. Yeah, we didn't go inside though. Rome's so busy and hot, but beautiful. Love Rome. Okay, so you leave a coffee place. As soon as you step outside, light a cigarette and you start smoking. No, that was a joke.
Not a joke.
No, that was a joke.
TK,
that was a joke.
if you're watching,
that was
it's not a joke.
That was a joke. All right. Once you finish your cigarette, sit down for lunch. Bang. First course, second course. No, entree, first course, second course.
What you go to?
You sit at lunch for 3 hours.
Truffle carbonara?
Yeah, well, if you could have truffle. I had this truffle oil infused gnocchi one time. That was a while ago though. What did I have this time? A lot of boar ragu. Boar ragu is good. Deer ragu, tagliatelle or whatever. The nonna's usually making. The first place we went to in Rome, the nonna's making the pasta out in front. So you sit down for 3 hours, have that.
Just 3.
You have first course will be some sort of pasta. Second course,
only 100
baked
euros.
like a bistecca of some sort. Yeah, only. So you spent 4 hours since you've woken up, and all you've done is gone to a coffee place and eat lunch till 3 o'clock. Go home, sleep, wake up, go outside,
sleep, a little nap.
How
long are you napping
siesta
for?
Because maybe you're in Spain. I don't know.
How long are you napping for?
20 minutes.
20-minute power nap.
Optimal power nap, yeah. Because you have to wake up, have a cigarette, go outside, then you walk around for a bit, get an ice cream. Then
No dinner?
No, dinner's coming.
Ice
Then you
cream
go to a
before
bar,
dinner.
start drinking aperitivo. All right, so you have your Aperol Spritz, your Negroni, whatever. 5 Negronis later, it's 10 o'clock. That's when you start to eat. You go to dinner. You eat dinner till 1 o'clock. You go to bed, and that is a beautiful day in Italy. And before you go to bed, you have one more cigarette to put you to sleep. And then that's basically the lifestyle. So that was basically every day in Italy that I spent. You see some sights
Where's
along
the
way,
partying?
but correct. No, you get home. You get home at 1 o'clock. Apparently, when in Rome, you don't go out till like 1 o'clock. So go out 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock. Sleep till 11 o'clock the next day. Restart.
What's the nightlife in Rome like?
The best thing about it is you don't go to the toilet once the whole time you're there because of your diet. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, Rome, we didn't go out, but
We.
well, I was with my family.
Oh.
So wholesome family time. But yeah, it was great. I had a great time, clearly.
Go to any other places?
No.
Portofino?
No, we went to
I found my love in Portofino.
Stop it. No, we went to Puglia for the first time, which is really like I want to keep it quiet, but Puglia is really nice.
Where's
so with
that?
family, went to Puglia, which is like the heel of Italy.
Near Sicily.
I guess so, but it's the south. But it's like it's a poorer region. These are poorer regions in the south, but they've got really beautiful, beautiful coastline, great food. Poverty. I hate poverty. I hate poverty. Just let it be known that I hate poverty. But really good because when you go compare it to the Amalfi Coast, which is where we went after,
Tourists.
just chaos and chaos.
It's like
and
Bondi
logistical
Beach, bro.
nightmare at lunch. Yeah, in summertime, it's just, and it's not really Italy, I sound like such a snob. It's not Italy. The people are not nice. Oh, really bad. So mum left a review of a 6 at this place because
I
they
heard
charged
about
us.
this.
Yeah, because I posted about it.
All right, story time.
Story time. So mum left a review. It was it was a 6 because what happened
At a hotel.
At a hotel because we got told that my brother who's gluten free could have eggs in breakfast because otherwise you're just having like 100 croissants. This is why you got no gut fiber when you're away. But you have 500 freaking croissants and then the other options are like salami and whatever. So, Julius is like, oh, could I get eggs? And he's like, yeah, the chef comes in at this time, like you can get eggs from him. And so I was like, oh, great, you can get a couple eggs. And so Julius got that 2 or 3 times. They charged us €12 each time he did that. Didn't tell us that. So at the end, she said 6. It was good. 6 is a 6. Like it's not that bad. Great view, whatever.
€12
upset.
for eggs.
Yeah. 3 times. €36. It's about
€36 for 12 eggs.
no €36
For 9 eggs.
for 6 eggs.
Or did you only get 2 at a
Yeah,
time?
you only get 2 at a time.
I thought you would have got 4 at a time.
Yeah,
Packed
€36,
on.
which is what 50 something. 50 now with the exchange rate, it's almost $60. So because we'd just left and that was like the last day, they sprung it on her. She had to pay it. So she said that and got charged €12. This guy, this is what and they probably
we put
obviously
the
pissed
screenshots
off.
up on the
We can if you want. Like
for the visual watchers. There will be screenshots of this.
yeah, but obviously like they just I think the people are they're a bit sick of tourists and whatever. But mum leaves this review. This guy responds on booking.com with almost like an abusive message saying all this stuff about how we were terrible guests and like this is disgraceful that she left this. Not only that, she gets a message on WhatsApp. She gets a voice note about a minute 30 long from this guy in Italian basically having a crack at her saying that, you brought guests over, like how could you do this?
Did you bring guests over?
Well, yeah, but it's like you can. Like they didn't bother, they didn't bat an eyelid about it when we did it. And we also went and ate at their restaurant with all these guests and, spent lots of money at that restaurant.
Was it good food at least?
I was okay. The view was amazing. I think they just rest on that as, that's like kind of the Amalfi thing is like the view's beautiful, so everything can cost $1 billion, €1 million.
Preach.
So, and it's like, and then we scroll up, I'm like, oh, well, that was a 6. Imagine when they got a 1. They got it on. This guy's gone crazy, and it's all on.
So
like, it's like
people
defamation. It's
other
like
people
defamation.
left 1 reviews on it, and
One
he
star
abused them
reviews
as well.
Oh my
is what
god,
you're saying.
he was abusing anyone that left less than a 7. So mum was close. She probably should have just popped a 7 maybe. And we
Did you do a
abused.
second review then?
Well, because there was another room, mum did a better Mum did it and gave it like a 7 for the other one, and it didn't respond to that. But then we contact Booking.com, and here's the catch: Booking.com are really not helpful with that because this was a genius accommodation. So when there's genius accommodation, what that means is that Booking.com takes a cut of whatever the booking fee is, because what they'll do is they'll pump their, like when you look up, we're in Praiana.
They'll pump it in the algorithm.
They'll put it to the top, and it's like got Genius stars. It's like, oh, you get a Genius discount for this, but also they take a cut. So they don't want you to complain about it because they're in bed with the hotel. So it was disgraceful. It was disgraceful, and nowhere else they would do that. Like but I mean, because it's Amalfi, people will always stay there, so they can rest on that. They rest on their laurels there. So anyway, that was the experience of the Amalfi. But
what was the guy's name?
I don't know. I don't want our fans to go after him. So I'll give him that. Careful. A really rude thing to say. But then we went north to the mountains. We did the hike in the mountains. It was beautiful. So don't go to Hotel Smeraldo in Praiana if you're going to if you're going to travel to Amalfi anytime soon, which I don't think we're rushing back because it's just
little did this
busy.
hotel concierge know that you have a platform.
I have a platform,
and you're ready to spread hate.
Yeah.
Cancelled.
Cancel Hotel Smeraldo. No, but overall, yeah, great trip. And then I went off with the Georges to. Do you want me to recap the most of the trip now? Portugal. Places you should go to is Portugal. I love Portugal. Do you want to hear a cool story about Lisbon?
I'd love to.
Yeah?
Lisbon's in Portugal.
Lisbon is the capital of Portugal. So, beautiful city.
Beautiful women.
I've lost track now.
Because of the thoughts of all the beautiful women you met in Portugal?
No, just Portugal.
What
rhymes with Portugal?
Which place had more beautiful women, Portugal or Portofino? If you had to pick one.
Portugal. So going back to Portugal, so Lisbon.
Okay, we're going to go with Portugal.
We did a walking tour with this Irish guy. And so the walking tours are free. You just give a tip at the end. You tip for how much you see fit. So you can tip like €1 if you really don't.
What's the biggest tip you've ever given?
Probably €5 to this walking tour guy. I don't give tips. I don't have enough money to pay for the dinner, let alone for the tip. Anyway, so he tells this story about there was this one holy day. So Lisbon used to be, obviously like a merchant's village and lots of people sailing in and out. It's a port city. But the streets used to be like really windy. It used to be this kind of old, run down. And this guy tells a story of one day, it's a holy day in like 1750 something where everyone is in church.
5:50 p.m.
What?
1750.
1750 something.
Is that 5:50 p.m.?
Huh?
1750. Isn't that 5:50 p.m.?
The year 1750.
Oh, I thought you meant the time.
No. Anyway, I'll continue. 1750 AD, the year. And everyone's in church around
Jesus Christ.
And around 10 a.m., massive earthquake. And because everyone's in church, these churches collapse on them and lots of people die. The ones that survive 10 minutes later, there's a second earthquake.
Kills them as well.
Yeah. So what do people do? Run to the beach, get away from the buildings.
Tsunami.
How did you know? The water's gone out. I'm like, oh, this is weird. I've never seen this before. They don't have YouTube. They don't know about, what happens before, what happened in Indonesia.
They've never seen Godzilla.
So water goes out, massive tsunami, covers half the city, destroys half the city.
Did anyone survive?
Other half of the city, because they'd been lighting candles in church, all the churches, is burning. So it's half water, half burning. The only place that didn't burn down or wasn't affected by the tsunami was where the brothels were, was where all the bars were. And it's still there now. It's this older town kind of area. And so people were like, what the hell, God? We literally came to praise you. And this is what you did to us. And the people that went to the brothels
all the scumbags
are still alive. And so that was kind of like part of the
1750.
So that's
not long
almost
ago.
like, yeah, exactly. And it's almost like for them, like their turn to the Enlightenment, because they're like, well, if God was real, this probably wouldn't have happened. Anyway, we're not getting into that sort of thing. But I guess the main thing that I talk out of that, because there hasn't been an earthquake since, so they rebuilt the city and it's beautiful.
So then the ancestors from that town are all just,
What?
well, if only the brothel people survived.
You're gonna have to cut that out. We're not saying the word. We're not saying the words. On the
I can beep it out.
So, yeah. So, but I guess the main takeaway from that is when it's not your day, it's not your day, I guess. So, for the people of Lisbon that time. But anyway, that's why there's so much fascinating history in Lisbon, and also, great party. But yeah, that was a couple of stories from my time away. Nothing special really this time. Anything happened with you while I was away? What was the coolest thing to happen?
Well, before we get to me,
yeah.
I heard you had a nice little.
Oh my God! I said we weren't going to talk about this.
Okay, so while I was,
do you want to talk about it? We can talk about cutting it out. I could take a decision.
Nah, I'd rather not have to do the cutout decisions anymore. So we'll avoid it.
No, man. So like, if we talk about
Can we just bleep it and keep that in, bro?
No, because they're going to listen. People are going to listen to this.
If you're listening to this, thank you.
But we can't do this. I told you. We're not talking about the romance.
Okay, we won't talk about.
That's what I want to. I have to respect the other parties involved.
Well, there's multiple romances.
Other party involved.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it was nice. I had a nice week in Italy.
It's been a good 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've missed you, bro.
It's really nice.
I've been pretty busy. Footy.
So you haven't missed me that much.
Footy. I've been exercising a lot. Really trying to.
The forearms look quite strong.
I bought a watch, a Garmin Forerunner. It's pretty cool. It
Yeah.
tracks your heart rate, your VO2 max, tracks your sleep, or
Yeah.
like your REM state, and all these weird things in your sleep. So I'm starting to learn a bit more about my body.
Yeah.
That could be taken the wrong way, but
I'd like to learn about your body.
okay. Well, you've already got other people to
Oh
worry.
my God, stop.
So yeah, it's been good. I've been reading a lot.
Yeah.
Reading some good books that Neurotify. Congratulations for
Poems.
graduating. I'm trying to really hone in on my craft, And I don't know what that craft is yet, but I'm sure I'll find it.
Nice. Proud of you.
So pretty
Proud of
boring. Realistically, it's been pretty boring.
Perth winter?
Cold. It's been
Perth
really
winter.
cold. I went to a few swim trainings where it was like 5 degrees
Oh.
and it was just horrible. Just horrible.
We've got Euro summer. Why don't we popularise Perth winter? Just working in yourself.
Yeah, it is. Perth winter is a bit of a grind because it's just so dull.
'Cause it's not Europe.
And wet and rainy, and then you got friends who are just over in Europe having the time of their lives.
But that's
while
most of
you're
the year in some countries as
You're
well.
just grinding.
That's most of the years in some countries.
I've picked up running.
Yeah.
I've never really been a runner.
We were talking about running a lot before I left as well.
Run clubs.
Well, we're doing
talking
run
about.
club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I've picked up running properly,
it's
running a couple times a week, like
It's addictive.
for a lot longer.
Mm.
Like the longest one I've been for was an hour 45 minutes,
Wow.
which is huge for me because before this year I'd probably never run over 10Ks at
You're
once.
a water animal.
My hips get jacked up from all the years of water
Jacked
sport.
up.
Yeah.
They're jacked. You got jacked hips.
No, they get
Like
a bit
biceps.
stiff and sore.
Yeah.
So I've been learning to stretch out my hip flexors and things like that. So I've really learned a lot about myself. I've been playing a bit of tennis. Really been getting into my sport.
Love tennis.
Yeah, so that's been good. It's been pretty boring though. I'm excited to have you back. I'm excited for the listeners to be back with us because we've got some really great guests coming on over the next few months and really want to get into the grind of the podcast. As summer comes around, we're really going to start spouting out episodes.
And I bet the listeners love the sound of my voice.
So
Miss the sound of my voice. It's kind of like it's taken on a look how tanned I am as well. Wow, it's kind of taken on like a husky kind of. All that Italian speaking made me drop a few octaves and decibel octaves. So I've got like a sexier voice probably than when I left. What do you think? Or is that just the sound? Sounds like it.
Yeah. So, in old fashion of the podcast, because we have the reunion today, I was thinking we should do
A hug on camera.
a person of the week or
Yeah.
a person of the period. And we'll get a little poll going on the Instagram. Make sure you're following our Instagram at
Yep.
at Crooked Smile Podcast.
At crookedsmile.com as well. That's our
We're
website.
trying to get the Instagram blowing up a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make sure you follow us there because we'll be putting a poll for this person of the week on. I think I've taken person of the weeks by storm from memory of record.
I think people don't appreciate my person, but I think this week people are going to appreciate my person.
I don't know. I got a pretty good person of the week.
Okay, you go first.
No,
then.
you first because mine's better.
Well, my person of the week, and it's very special to me actually, and I'd like to give a bit of background information on this, but I came back from my trip, and especially, you know, I had some important stuff going on back
I
here.
hope it's not the same person.
Well, my nono turned 100.
Oh, okay.
Is it the same person?
No. How are we going to get a photo of your nonna or not?
My nono, I can get a photo. I got a photo of him
and
sitting
we're
in
allowed to
front of
post it on the story for the poll.
Yeah, we can do that because he has turned 100 on Wednesday, and we had a big celebration for him. But the guy is incredible. Like when you talk about, you know, difficulties that we face today, obviously it's a very different world, but most of the difficulties that we have today he wouldn't even, or like, you know, the issues that we face. And we talk about mental health and that stuff a lot. And that's become as a creation of the world that we live in, like as, you know, but in his situation, you know, he didn't have time to think about, because what he did, like, you know, fought in the war for Italy in the Second World War, and then post-war, you know, you're in a country that's been just leveled to the ground. Like, you know, you're rebuilding these cities, and, you know, he did work some time as a builder there, but he made the decision in 1952, I think, to come to Australia, which was just this country that they were trying to get people to, that the British had been going to for a few years, and not really many Southern Europeans, because we had quite a racist, I guess, immigration policy post World War II. But they opened it up to Southern Europeans, and he would have been in one of the first few, you know, boats to come to Australia. But to leave like his family and he only went back a handful of times just to do that, move completely out of it. Like now we talk about comfort zones, like get out of your comfort zone. Da, da, da. It wasn't like a oh, get out of your comfort zone. It was a move out of necessity, right? So, you know, those are the big real issues then, is like, how do I actually make a life for myself in this country that's, you know, rebuilding, or in this continent that's rebuilding from the war. So came to Australia. Got to Australia, they straight swapped his passport, his Italian passport, for an Australian passport. They said, you're Australian now. Got him on the train straight to Mount Magnet, building railways and doing mining stuff. And so, I mean, yeah, and from there he managed to, I don't know, it would have been an interesting place. Not lawless is the word, but like, you know, they wouldn't have had all the institutions and everything in place. So you can kind of do what you wanted a bit once you got a bit of money from working on the mines or whatever. But he started a food import business on Stirling Highway once he had a little bit of money behind him, and he used all his connections back in Italy to, you know, bring in good produce, and he still stands with, and that's probably why his life's been so long and he's still really with it and super prosperous, is because this guy refuses to eat bad processed food, and now he says it's basically impossible. He says don't go to restaurants because they just cook with animal fat rather than olive oil. But this is why you see like old Italian men just in villages that are super fat, but they're healthy and they're like 100 years old, because they eat well, they eat from the land. And with, I guess, the way that we're moving with everything being processed, like it's hard to find that these days. But that's what he says is the number one thing to his health. But anyway, I started this food import business and had 3 kids, and, you know, has lived a comfortable life in Australia after taking like a massive risk to come to a country with basically nothing. And I mean, he would have seen a lot of progression in Australia. Like he would have seen most of this, you know, the buildings that we have today built in that short period of time. So yeah, that's why I guess I'm here today as a result of that. And yeah, shout out to him for making that move and taking that risk. And, you know, to go back to what I was saying before, I'm not trying to discredit, you know, the mental health issues and, you know, the big issues that people have today. Because I mean,
you are.
No, exactly. Like you know, it's completely different, but it's a result of the world that we live in, and it's social media and it's that sort of stuff that cause the anxiety and depression and
I don't know
and
how
what
we
other
got
people
here.
feel. But like, yeah, it's crazy to think about that. Then obviously there's no social media or anything, but like, you don't have a moment to think, stop and go, oh, like, you know, am I doing the right thing with my life? Where am I going? Because everyone has these thoughts. I have these thoughts. It's like, am I doing the right thing? You know, you get upset because you're like, oh, well, didn't get this job or didn't do this. At that time, you just made decisions that you thought was best for you, and you just went with them. You didn't stop and think about it. You didn't overthink everything. Got on a boat and came to Australia. Traveled for months on this boat to come to Australia, to this country with nothing, because he thought that was the best opportunity for him at the time. It's incredible, and I mean, but it's a different world. It's a different world.
Into existential crisis.
Anyway, yeah, but that's the thing. There was an existential crisis because he'd just been through a war. Like, he'd seen the worst of humanity, and he's like, well, you know, anything's better than here, so I'm just going to go to Australia and start a new life. Anyway. Sorry, but that's why my nonna was the person of the week. Also, Hawk Tour girl, because she's super cool as well, and inspirational. What about yours? Good luck beating that.
Yeah, fuck, man. Mine. This person's been grinding in the shadows, and lately they've been really getting after it publicly, and they've been really doing bits.
Hawk Tour girl.
They recently graduated from University of Western Australia. So my person of the week
Matt
is
Steiner Prize.
Neurotify, Fletcher Gardner.
I'm really upset about how close you and Fletcher Gardner are. You keep bringing him up.
No, I just...
Something weird going on here.
I wonder... See, I feel like if anyone listens to this podcast, they'll be voting for a different person too if they just look at the poll. After all the context you just gave for yours.
Is it going to be Nono, Hawk Tour girl, and Fletcher?
I don't think the Hawk Tour girl deserves
No,
it.
she's my person of the last few months. You know, that probably is the perfect, like...
balance.
It probably makes my point that, you know, that's the sort of person that people value in society now. Compared to
100-year-old Italian immigrant or Hawk Tour girl.
Good for her. I wonder what the poll's going to say. Anyway. Never thought about those two people together in the same thought as well. My 100-year-old Nono and Hawk Tour girl. But yeah, good person of the week. Do you have anything more to say about Fletcher, or you just might as well just bring him back for another podcast?
Great guy.
I love Fletcher too.
Means well.
He hurt his shoulder as well last weekend, so
Praying for him.
Wonder if all that mental health stuff, he probably needed to focus more on his physical health. I'm joking. Do not put that in.
That's kind of funny though.
No, it's kind of funny. No, shout out Fletch. Maybe it's to start an Instagram page about
a get well soon.
Physical health. Yeah, get well
start
soon.
A get well soon for Fletch. A GoFundMe. Take all the funds for the podcast. If you guys know anyone that wants to sponsor us, we're open to sponsorships as well, by the way.
Yeah, true.
I really want to get after it, you know. This summer's going to...
It's not usually the way that you try to attract sponsors, but
this
we're
summer,
very open and
summer.
transparent.
We're really going to...
Sponsorship
grow.
summer.
We're going to grow this summer, and if anyone wants to grow with us...
we need some summer ships.
Some summer ships would be nice.
Summer ships. I need some summer ships as well,
we'll
just
probably
personally.
have to get a new studio eventually, and it'd be nice.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest lesson you would take away from Europe then?
There were people have asked me that. People have asked me about what I'm.
What have you learned? How have you grown as a human, an individual?
I don't know if I've learned anything particular about myself or anything. There are just a couple of times there where I was like, took a moment to sit back and go, life's pretty good, and that's basically it. I don't really think people talk about finding themselves in Europe. I don't think you find yourself in a foreign country. Well, actually, that's not true. But no, I didn't have too many spiritual experiences that completely changed my trajectory of life. Didn't make any massive decisions. I just kind of enjoyed the trip, and yeah, but it's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
I felt like it was just me talking at you for most of the time.
Which is what I like.
Yeah.
That's a podcast.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yep.
If you guys stuck to the end.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how you're still here. I'm kidding. You guys are real ones.
You're I appreciate it.
You're the reason this world goes
Appreciate
around.
Campbell just making up saying little inside jokes that I asked him not to bring up, but that's okay.
This will be a fun post-edit, lads.
Yeah.